to the Gussets and Go Days podcast. My name is Christina and this is my podcast about my knitting, stitching and crafting. We're in September already, well into September. Autumn is just kind of creeping around the edges and I'm really in the mood to make and create some nice things to wear for the new season. So I want to show you what I've done. So I've got like a clean slate and then I can go into some next video with some autumn sewing plans and then I can show you what I'm working on as I'm doing it. So I'm really excited for that. So I have made a few little baby things. There's a company that I like called Rainer and Bear. They do some children's knits. They don't have a huge number of patterns, but they do have a few. They're really beautiful. I think that they used to make them to sell, so the garments, and they'd sell them like in a fancy department store in central London. And I think they just made it themselves, the lady that owns it and her mum, and all the pictures are her sons. She has 3 little boys. Anyway, I really like the brand, called Rainer and Bear. This is one of their pocket rompers. It's so sweet. I used the yarn was Debbie Bliss Cashmerino, and it's knit from the kind of the crotch area and then knit up in the round, and then you split to do the top part. And I mean, I think it's really cute. I popped on some really sweet little buttons. I just got these in Abercan, which is my local kind of craft shop. I just thought they were very like back to school. This size was the kind of 6-month type size. And yeah, this is a really good, doesn't quite fit her yet, almost. But yeah, I really like knitting it. I've got to say, I was very confused at multiple points in the pattern. Now, I think I'm used to a few set designers which I use a lot of their patterns. So when I go to a new designer, sometimes it takes me a little while to kind of get to grips with their terminology and the way that they speak. Some pattern designers are very whimsical in the way that they describe their patterns and the way that they tell you to do things. Some are like really strict with instructions. Some give you a little bit more wiggle room. I think sometimes this pattern kind of assumed that I knew way more about this garment. Yeah, I knew I was knitting this from the picture, but I didn't know if it was top down, bottom up. There was like lots of things I didn't know going into it, so it was just a little bit confusing. But as long as you follow each step by step, you just have to kind of get your blinkers on and be a little bit blinded by it. And this is like a working little kind of kangaroo pocket. Not that babies would ever use it, but it's sweet. So I think super old-fashioned looking, and yeah, it was a nice little project, but as I say, I was a little bit confused. I have knit their Etive romper as well, which is a really nice pattern, easier than this without that kangaroo pocket and without all of these decreases and this flap. It's just kind of the pants part of it with little braces, and that one was easier to make. So this was kind of like the next. So I've got a little. Oh, so I think it's just a little bit of a splitty stitch. That's fine. Still on the subject of Rainer and Bear, I needed to knit a present. And I really was racking my mind. I was like, oh, romper, something like that. It's quite old-fashioned looking, and I love it, but maybe not everyone would. So I saw this pattern, another Rainer and Bear. Oh, a cardigan. I'm gonna have to write it on the screen because I actually don't even know what that word means. It's just a name or something. Anyway, I used the yarn very comparable to the Debbie Bliss Cashmerino is the SIRDAR Snuggly Cashmere Merino Silk. So, I mean, very nice. And they come in 50-gram balls. Did I ball something? I might have balled something. Oh, the shade is called Little Piglet. I like it even more. Shade 300. Oh, that's very sweet. Little Piglet. It was, again, I knit a lot of things top down, so I kind of assumed I would be making something top down. It did not say that in the pattern. So when it was asking me to do things, I thought, I don't know what I'm making. I don't know what is going on. You start with the back, and you're actually starting with the back rib. And I thought I was maybe on the back neck. I had no idea where I was. I just... There was multiple times in the pattern I was like, why is it saying this to me? Why is it saying this? I don't understand. Anyway, how nice is that stitch pattern? It's like so squishable. Let me just do a little zoom in because it is a rib, but it's utilising a stitch which I haven't used before, which is knit one below. So that was a lot of fun, kind of learning something new. Ribbing is not my favourite. It's not my favourite, but for this result, I'm so happy with it. I think it does have a kind of slightly old-fashioned vintagey feel to it, but I think it's very on trend for now, which I like. And I just some plain mother of pearl buttons, because mother of pearl can go on anything. Oh, awesome. I'm just going to carry on and pretend it's not there. The sizes, I would say I really like in a pattern for there to be, you know, the little diagram, and then it shows you different points on the pattern. It tells you the sizes and kind of the length of the sleeve and the width at this point and that point. Schematics, I think they're called. I love them. This doesn't have that, so I do believe that I got gauge. I do believe it's the right size. I knit the 6 to 12 month size. I think they're a little bit on the small size or side. They do need to be, this needs to be, it looks so tiny. Oh my God, that looks so tiny. But actually, I've laid it against my baby who is nearly 6 months, and it would be too big for her. And it's for a baby that's a little bit younger. And I'm going to block it because I think it just needs ever so slightly just to really highlight that rib. Otherwise I feel like it gets lost a bit. Not too much, just a little bit. But it's super stretchy, really squishy and lovely. I had to knit it in pieces and stitch it together. Not impressed. But my seaming looks spectacular, if I do say so myself. So yeah, very nice little knit. Very happy with that. Oh, crying baby. Is it a false alarm? It might be. Yeah, I think it's a false alarm. Oh, so this dress I made, now you may have noticed last week, I was doing all sorts with that camera. No, I have told myself this week, Christina, there is no moving of the camera. So I've done some footage. This is a Liberty pattern. Ooh, let me just get that. You would think I would be more prepared. Okay, so this that I'm wearing is a very beautiful little tea dress. I am not going to move the camera. I've taken some nice footage. So, the Bella tea dress by Liberty, and the size goes up to a size 22, which is a 44-inch bust. Well, that is a very mean sizing. That 44-inch bust is size 22. Don't be so ludicrous. That is just ridiculous. Anyway, it's a beautiful pattern. It has got little puff sleeves, a kind of a slightly loosish bodice with some kind of gathering underneath the collar, and it's got a little peephole opening at the neckline, and then it's got a plain gored skirt. I think it was made of 4 pieces, the skirt. And then you can make it with the Peter Pan collar or without. There's the illustrations. Now, what did I do differently? Firstly, I made the twirl exactly as this, and I made it in quite a stiff cotton that I just had laying around, which meant that it looked very much like it does on her. Like, the fabric really stood away from the body. You could really see like the puff, and it was very sharp. I did really like that. This will have been made in a Tana Liberty lawn. Tana lawn, yeah. Problem is, it's a side zip. I mean, maybe I am just an idiot. I get stuck. To the point, it's obviously comical, being stuck with your arms in air with the dress like wrapped around and you can't get out. So I think a side zip and a dress with sleeves should not exist. Foolish. So that had to be changed, in which case I made it button down. So I did have to do a little bit of drafting. I also the way that they want you to construct it is they want you to make the bodice and then put the seam allowance that is on your neckline into the collar, which would mean that inside your collar all the seam allowance is in there and it's quite bulky. I disagree with that too. The way I have always made collars is you make a lovely collar, press it flat, put it onto your dress, and then you would do a facing or a binding or something to attach the two together. So I went the facing way. It did mean that I needed to draft the facing, which as there are gathers under the neckline, was a little bit tricky. Anyway, the fabric was a viscose from Sew Me Sunshine, which is a UK based online shop, and I really love the dress. I cut out the size. Yeah, I cut out the size 18, and then I added a smidge extra on the side seams. When I was sewing it, I loved it. I laid it on the mannequin as I was sewing it, all the little pieces, the collar and such. It was beautiful. And then as I had finished making it, I put it on and looked in the mirror in horror. I hated it. It's meant to have a shoulder pad. Well, I already have more than enough shoulder. We don't need any like linebacker. Definitely not. I wore it around the house for a day and I hated it, and I was so disappointed. Sorry, that's just me wasp spying. And I was so disappointed that I've spent all the time making these little covered buttons to do to make it button down, and all little rouleau loops to make, it was just some of these little things that I did. I'm really happy with them. but they did take a lot of time, and it may not have been worth it, seeing as the print is so busy, to be honest. If it was a plain fabric, so the cat's getting the wasp. If it was a plain fabric, then all the little details would really shine, like the little bit of gathering you've got under the collar, you can't really see it, and then these little covered buttons, you can't really see them. And then I made, which was an addition, just a little thin tie belt that you can tie to the back or tie to the front. Oh, and I added I just added a little ribbon from behind, so that when they would strain open, like even if I pull it really tight, you can only see the kind of placket. That was a last minute addition after I realised that you could see it. Yeah, all these little things, I think they would look more effective on a plane. Now, I'm not upset that I did it, I still really think they're nice, but you can see it better in real life than you can in a picture, for example. So this is a winner. I'm going to make another one of these, definitely. I think what I'll do next time is I will do the opening in the front as it explains, not do the button down, and try and do a back zip, which would mean that the back collar, instead of being all one, I would need to have this also in the back. I think that would be easy to do. I might twirl that. Yeah, I might do just a little practice just to check, because I remember this took 3 meters of fabric for the size 20, 18, or yeah, 18, the size 18. 3 meters of fabric, and I didn't have a huge amount left over. I remember really having to squeeze this little belt out of, like, really getting it in. Yes, so I'm happy with it. I don't usually sew with viscose, but it actually is a much more transitional fabric than cotton, because you can wear it really easily with tights underneath or with a slip underneath, and doesn't bunch up like cotton. If you wear something underneath cotton, it can like stick and looks ugly. So this is really nice and floaty, and you can't really, I think there's 4 darts on the shoulder cap, and in the cotton it really stands proud, but in this it's just really soft and pretty. So this was a winner. I do need to put a hook and eye on the back of this, because at the moment it's hanging on by a tiny thread attached to a popper. It was just like an emergency. How could I not have any hook and eyes? I know. Unbelievable. Oh, and to wear with this, I have been wearing my Whitmore cardigan. And beautiful. So it was made with Drop Sky in their white colour. This yarn is very lightweight. It is fluffy, so it gives beautiful fuzz. It's not shiny at all. It has a really matte finish. It has a really nice kind of drape to it, and it moves really well with the body. It's not got any stiffness at all. It's really floaty and has got that kind of almost like fairy feel to it. It doesn't have very much structure, so when I knit the Whitmore sweater, that was 1 sock yarn held with mohair, and that is a definitely more structured garment. I mean, it looks the same in pictures, but on your body it weighs more, and it's more structured, and I think it will last longer. The softness of this, I don't know how well it will last, but I'm super happy that I used this. You can't see the ribs so well, so I wouldn't use it for anything ribbed or cabled, or that uses a stitch pattern that's utilising like pearl bumps, but lacy things, definitely beautiful. And I did pop out today and buy some ribbon. So I think I'm going to try the technique of putting ribbon behind the button band, and well, both of the button bands, the one with the buttons and the one with the holes. I've never done that before, but I think on something this soft, I really feel that it could stretch out easily. I don't know what else to say about the yarn. It was a budget-friendly option, and I just wanted to try out something different, and I'm really pleased with it. The pattern is so easy, so easy, because everything is explained every single step of the way. From beginning to end, you know where you are, you're utilising stitch markers that you're told where to put, and just at any point when I put it down, I know exactly what to do when I pick it up. There's no, you know, you could put it down for a few weeks and be busy and just not have the mental capacity to be working on a lacy project like I did. At one point I just put it down. When I came to pick it up, there was no like, oh, where am I in the pattern? Like, it was so easy to see. I was on the lace, I could count exactly how many stitches were between, and it's just so beautiful. I find, do you call it, is this called a yoked? I always associate the word yoked with the colour work sweaters, but actually I think it's anything. You see, this doesn't have a shoulder seam or a raglan. It's a circle. You make a circle until this point and then you divide for your sleeves and your body. But if you were just making the lace, you can actually lay it flat. Lots of people do that for a photo. You can see the circle of the neck hole, and then you see the edge of where the needle is, how far they've knitted up to. So yeah, I think it's called a yoke. Very, very flattering if you're broad on your shoulders, because it doesn't draw attention to your width, it softens it. So I think that's very nice. I'm going to make another one, I think. Talk more about that in my autumn plans, but I think I'm leaning towards a black one. Don't usually wear black, but I want one that will go with lots of autumn things. I'm leaning towards the black. I might even make it in the same yarn. I thought it was really worthwhile. Yeah, I think it was worth it for what you get for your money. I think it was really great, and this time I think I want to do the big bishop sleeves, because I have that on my sweater, and you just feel, it just feels lovely. I've never had things with like flappy sleeves, and they really make a difference to your mood. Flappy sleeves are just happy. Flappy sleeves are happy sleeves. Oh, this may be, unfortunately, the most boring project in the world, but I really wanted a plain black turtleneck. Oh, I've got wasps, I've got flying labels, I've got flying needles. The cat is ready though. You'll be able to see, I mean, there are no details to see, but this is the Lang Yarns JAWOLL Superwash. It's just in their plain black. It's a sock yarn. It's much softer than the usual sock yarns that I would use, like the Opal, Regia, West Yorkshire Spinners. I wouldn't make garments out of those, I don't think. I mean, I could wear them and it wouldn't irritate me, but they are a bit rough for garments, let's be honest. Whereas this one, I used some of their white previously, and that garment I find is soft enough for me for a garment, much softer than those other yarns I mentioned. So it is really boring knitting in plain black yarn. Luckily, this is mostly stockinette, so I can just knit and not look. Because there's nothing nice to look at. Not a speckle, not a tonally variance in sight, just block, plain black. But I have always had a black turtleneck in my wardrobe. When it wears out, I replace it. The last time I replaced one, I replaced it with a jersey from just shop bought. I can wear it once, and after half an hour of wearing it, it's like stretched out and saggy. So it starts off like nicely fitted, not super tight, but nicely fitted. By the like after I've worn it for half an hour, I've got like saggy elbows and like back drapey flappy bit. I hate it when you have to wash something to like suck it back in. I mean, it's bad enough with a pair of jeans when you have to do that, but at least you can get a day's wear. 30 minutes worth of wear before it looks bad. Not good enough, so I thought, let's knit one. I've just used the Amy Appel Poison Girls pattern. It's the beauty school top. So far, the only difference is I've knit a really long amount of ribbing. And I just keep trying it on, flapping it down and seeing if I've got enough. I think I still need a little bit extra. It's just the 1x1 rib. Otherwise, I follow the pattern. This camera picks up every tiny bit of fluff. And apparently, I'm a very fluffy person. Sorry about that. I will defuzz it before I wear it. That side's less fuzzy. Let's hold it that way. Yeah, I like it. I like this pattern. I know it fits me. I was looking online specifically for a turtleneck, and I couldn't find one that was a 4-ply, and I just get like irritated and frustrated on Ravelry when I type in what I want and it comes up with, I mean, so many patterns that are not what I'm looking for, and sometimes patterns, but there's no pattern. You can't actually buy the pattern from anywhere. It's out of print, but there's a project page. There's people put their projects on there, so maybe it's an out of print pattern. So anyway, I find that frustrating. So I knew I had this pattern. I've completely finished the sleeves. The neckline's nearly done, and then I'm just going to do the body. I'm going to make it longer than, so usually I would make it just stop at the waist, but I think I'm going to reduce in. I want it a bit longer, so I think I have to increase out. Don't think I've done that before. I'm going to wing that. And what I might do is just put in a little lifeline, because then if it goes awfully, doesn't matter, you just like rip it out and continue. I would say I'm playing yarn chicken with this one, but I've literally got one full ball left. And as I don't think that, I know that's not going to be enough, but I don't want to buy one ball extra and then discover I need like a second ball. So I want to make a note as I'm knitting it where this one gets added, knit till it's, I guess, almost gone, and then I can judge how much I need, because right now I have absolutely no idea. Although I guess I could weigh this. I'm not massively good with the mathematical side of knitting, which is why I don't make my own patterns. I buy patterns that someone has very kindly put their time and effort and like love and mathematical skill into, because that is not my forte. But although it's boring to knit, and it's so boring for you to look at, I know that. It's going to be like one of those things that you can just easily pull out, and it goes with everything. Where it could go, I think anyone's wardrobe, something like this can go into. Whether you have like a particular style, like I like a kind of vintagey feel. I don't want to look like I came straight out of a movie necessarily, because then people stare at you and you look a bit weird. I just like, like a nod to a kind of elegant, slightly vintage feel, more than enough for me. But if you have a very modern wardrobe, a black turtleneck I think goes with everything. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. I just need to work on it because it's a bit boring. Oh, I've got these fun socks on the go. I finished one. Do I have sock blockers? Yeah, I do. Oh. actually block my socks, but then I found that by blocking them, I was actually making them a bit too wide. So I've stopped blocking my socks now. I just wear them as soon as they're knit. But they're nice for showing on the podcast. Oh, how cute is this yarn? So this is called Downtown by Sheepies. Sheepies. And this one is Morning Mist, the colourway. That's the striping, which is really beautiful. And then I have added in this pink one, which is their, oh, it's not Downtown, it's, ooh, what's it called? I'll put it on the screen. Oh, Metropolis. In their Jaipur. Oh, is that a place in India? Jaipur. How embarrassing if it's not. Jaipur. Don't talk about things you don't know about, Christina. You sound stupid. Okay, this yarn, without one word of a lie, is the softest yarn I have ever felt in all of my life. This is Fairy Princess yarn for people who do not like rough yarns. I am dubious as to whether this is going to hold up. I have never made, ever made a hole in a sock. Never worn a hole through any of my socks. I made one hole one time because the yarn got caught on a nail, like in the carpet, like there was a little stapley from when the person who put the carpet in installed the carpet. There was like a little sharp metally bit, and it just pulled it. So I had to darn it. Other than that one freak occasion, I have never worn through a sock. So I am very interested to see how this like beautiful yarn is gonna wear. It may be like the story of the princesses that danced their slippers to pieces. Seeing my cat again. I will keep you updated. I knit this 60 stitches cuff down. I did a 1x1 rib, although I prefer knitting a 2x2 rib because it's easier for my fingers. I think this looks cooler. I knitted until I got to the stripe change, and then I did stockinette, and I did a heel flap, like a classic one, which looks cool. Now there is one huge flaw. Weird. There's one huge flaw to this yarn. So this yarn is the Downtown yarn. You may be able to guess. This yarn comes free with an earworm. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Downtown. What was it? Did you hear it? Downtown. Every single time I picked up these songs, these socks, that song was just wriggling around in my head. You know the song Downtown? Anyway. Every single time. Listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Oh my gosh. That was the worst thing about it. And I have now gifted that to you, so that's going to be in your head for the rest of the day. Sorry about that. But I did find that a little bit irritating. Yeah. Sorry, I know that's just a little bit silly, but actually I did find that quite annoying. So Downtown is the stripe, Metropolis is the solid. They are exactly the same base. So they feel exactly the same, but one just comes in a stripe. One is a stripe ball, 50 grams, and the other one is a solid ball, 50 grams. So I bought two of this, one of this for the contrast. Really happy with that. And oh, I could not resist but to make just autumnal and fun. Oh, which leads me on to this cozy is one that I made, and I've just been thinking what I would kind of like to do with my time and how I will work with having a small baby. So in case anyone is interested, I have designed and sewn a range of knitting bags and accessories, which I'm going to put through on an Etsy shop. I think I'm going to put it on this week. I'm not going to do a timed update because I think that might be incredibly stressful, and just for my first update I'm just going to put in the things as they are sewn and ready to go. So I've got lots of these, I would call this print like boo with the ghosts on, which is really fun. There's also tiny little bags which are the notions pouches, but they're exactly the same as a full-size kind of sock bag. That's the sock bag, which I have been using one myself, and yeah, it's like a 1 to 2 skein. I mean, I could fit in more, but I think most people don't like to really cram their projects in. I've got my little logo that's stamped on there, Gussets and Go Days, with a vintage sewing machine and some flowers and around it, and as a yarn ball and those flowers, and a yarn ball and those flowers. A little bit difficult to do on such a small scale, but yeah, really sweet. I just wanted to make some really fun bags. How sweet are they? It's like the tiniest little bag in the world. I do have a sweater size one as well, which is bigger, and that's for like up to 5-6 skeins, 1-2 skeins. Notions pouch, cozy. So those will all be put in the shop immediately. I've got quite a few of all of those, and then I'm just working on the next print, which is the Witch's Wardrobe print, which is, these don't have, these are just the outside, they haven't been stitched fully yet, but I just thought they were, you can see like the theme of chaparelli pink. All the same styles, but in this print, and I've got 3 more prints that I would like to do. These are all Halloween theme. I just felt like making something fun with some colour pops, and I do love a seasonal print, but I don't like to put it really to wear it on my body as a garment. So I love having these fun little project bags. They are fully lined. They've got like a really nice sturdy structure to them. They stand up fully on their own, I mean full or empty, and then I like to roll them down when it's on the sofa, so I can kind of see my project, what I've got going on in there, and use it like as a bowl. So yeah, I think that the sock one, the smaller size, so it's just the 2 sizes, I think the smaller size is super versatile. Hats, socks, smaller shawls, children's garments. I could fit a full-size garment in there. I could fit a 3 skein full-size garment, but it would be crushed. But that's, I like to cram into my yarn into my project bags, because I always have them in my handbag or my backpack, and so I fill to capacity. I don't like to be carrying around half-empty bags. So yeah, if you would be interested and you like them, then I will put a link down below when the shop is there and it's open. Otherwise I'll put updates on my Instagram page. Things will just go up as they go up. I hope that you like them. it's just some, I couldn't resist this collection, and I've already got my Christmas fabrics, which are the Rifle Paper Company Christmas Nutcracker ones. I'm so excited to start sewing those. Those ones, beautiful. I need to pick the solid colours. I think I might do a nice pretty Christmassy red, and I'll probably pick a pastel-y tone as well, maybe a baby blue or a baby pink, because these Halloween ones, they're quite bold colours. I've only got one fabric that is muted, the rest are all quite bright, but not, I don't think they're like a kind of predictable Halloween, which is, you know, the orange, the bright orange, bright purple, bright green. They're kind of a little bit more unusual. Well, I would like to show you one more garment. So, and that, once I've shown all of these, I feel like I've got a nice clean slate. All my new makes, I can tell you about them without having to think into the past. So I'm getting comfy on my chair. So I made the Carolyn pyjamas by Closet. They were Closet Case, now I think they're Closet Core patterns. There's the back. I've had this for ages. I really wanted to make it. After I had a baby, I thought, this is it, I'm going to make them. I'm going to treat myself to new pyjamas, because when you're not feeling your best, new pyjamas are fabulous. Was that the best idea to try and do that? No. Was not the best idea to try and do that. Their maximum size is a size 20, bust 46 inches, hip 48 inches. Well, just after I'd had a baby, that weren't going to fit me. So I scrapped and came back to it maybe 2 months later. And I made the one size down, so I didn't make the 20, I made the 18 size. So I made the 44 bust, 46 hip. I made the blouse exactly as the pattern. I didn't use the piping because I didn't have the piping. I had a tiny baby and I really did not know how you were meant to leave the house with the baby and then do something when you're out. I wasn't quite there because she had no routine at that point, and I didn't know if she was just going to scream and cry the whole time. I didn't know. So I didn't go and buy piping, sorry. I just made it without. I used a plain cotton, which I got from Abercan Fabrics. It's printed with florals. Very lightweight, much lighter than a quilting cotton. That was a really great move. I thought it might be a little bit too lightweight. No, the lighter the weight for pyjamas, I think the better. I think I shortened the shirt by an inch just on the hem of it, and there is plenty of room in the arms, which is not usual for me. I think because it's based on a classic menswear pattern, you've got that little bit more like extra room where it sits really away from your arm, and you've got that bit of extra space. I did do a little bit of work to the trousers. I'm quite tall. I'm 5'7", a little bit over, but yeah, 5'7", and I made the trousers without the cuff on the bottom, and if I'd have added that extra cuff, then it would have been so much longer. But I just hemmed it up, so I mean, for me, it probably would have been 3 inches too long if I'd have sewn it the way they'd said with the cuff. Okay, no. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I made the pockets were really fun to do in the trousers. The elastic waistband, very, very easy. Other things I did on the trousers, I lengthened the waist, so it would have been a little bit, I wanted it coming to my waistline. I added that little bit of extra height into the pattern. I just slashed across the pattern and kind of moved it apart slightly. Oh, my little princess. I'm not going to stroke you. She looks like she might hit me. Yeah, but actually I did very minimal alterations because it is that menswear style. It's quite loose and forgiving for different figures, and it is a little bit oversized. After all of that of making it though, it wasn't a super quick make, but it wasn't really laborious. I do have them here, but I took some footage to show you. Pockets were really fun. So after going through all of that to make these pyjamas, there was a flaw in the print which I noticed only at the end. Only at the very end, I noticed there's a massive print flaw right slap bang centre front. So annoying. There's like a missing piece. Missing piece, very irritating. Oh, I did do one thing extra. I added an extra button. So there's a button there. That was meant to be the first button, and when I put it on, it was like plunging. I thought, well, that's not going down in the pyjama read. No. Pyjamas are a practical garment. The postman does not need plunging necklines in my pyjamas, thank you very much. Because I do answer the door in my pyjamas. I'm a heathen. Anyway, that is very annoying. I did consider getting the fabric paints out, as I have done in the past, and rectifying the situation. But no, I'm not going to do it, because if it goes wrong, I'm going to be really, really angry. So I don't really notice it when it's on, and it's quite a busy print. But isn't it typical? You make an entire garment. Couldn't have been on the undercollar, could it? No, it couldn't have been on like the back of the sleeve or in your armpit. No, it had to be right there next to a button. Oh, and these buttons, they were from an old Molly Makes magazine, like a free gift. And I thought, seeing as there were 3 colours, I would do 6 buttons, 2 of each. I just thought they were cool. I do like that with pyjamas, you can go a little bit like more wacky. I mean, you can go wacky in any of your clothes. I don't know why I don't. I feel I have a kind of a colour stagnation. I kind of get a little bit overwhelmed by colour. I was going to make a dress with this and it was a little bit fine and it needed lining, and then I just kind of overthought it, and then I just thought, oh, pyjamas, perfect, because you don't mind a busy print in pyjamas. They are very happy pyjamas, and I feel very put together wearing them around the house. Just having one last cursory glance. So yeah, so that is everything I'm up to date with. So you will have noticed through this episode that I inserted little clips of footage when I was talking about garments that I have finished. So I hope that was successful. I probably need a little bit of practice because I did that myself mostly with a tripod. Jason did, my love Jason, he did help me a little bit. So we'll see how that came together. I haven't edited this yet, obviously, so I'm going to do that, I think, yeah, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to see if I can film and edit and upload in a very short space of time, rather than leaving it for weeks and then coming back to it and forgetting what I've said. So fingers crossed that the episode has gone together nicely, that those little clips and things were complementary to my audio as I was describing. Yeah. And I will let you know about the bags as they become available. I kind of feel really awkward to talk about that. I don't know. Super British, a very British thing. Very British thing to have like this odd awkwardness. But never mind. I wanted to make some simple, easy to use bags which were just the perfect size perfect proportion. They sat really, really well with your project in it, whether it was full to the brim or like partially empty, rattling around with a little project in. I wanted them to kind of run smooth with the cord, that you didn't really need to yank it, that it kind of had enough softness to close without any pockets or any fiddly bits, because if there is a pocket in a project bag, I will leave something in it forever and it's lost. That's gone now. And then I have to rebuy it, like those little tape measures. I'll put it in one of those pockets, it's never coming out. Then I need to go and buy another little tape measure. So for me, no pocket. Nowhere to like clip little things, because I will clip them then I'll forget I've clipped them. So just the most streamlined, simplified version. And I really do feel happy with this little range. They feel really nice and solid, and I've been testing this one for its longevity and treating it poorly. I treat you badly, I love you madly. Yeah, so funnily enough, I thought, fun fact, I thought it would be actually really easy to make a range of nice products, and it is really easy to design and make them. It turns out sourcing all the things that you need, packing materials, stickers, it's like random things that you need which you never ever thought about, that is not so easy. So I have got a newfound appreciation for the small business owner, particularly the yarn dyers, the project bag makers, anyone who just makes these beautiful things for us as makers. I knew it wasn't easy creating the product. Turns out creating the product is actually the easiest part. Well, it was for me. Yarn dyers, not only do they have all those admin-y things that I'm not very good at, I don't know how they dye the yarn. I don't know how they dye the yarn. Like, to make it pretty. I know you add the dye, but how do you make it pretty? Anyway, I've witched on enough. I will see you when I see you, which is going to be soon. I've already got a few little patterns lined up. Oh, look, there's one of them. And the fabrics that go with them. I've got the fabric for that one already. I'm so excited. It's a wrap for this episode, and so is that. So, see you soon. Thanks for being here. Stay well. Bye-bye.